вопрос задам сам. Во-первых, браво, как обычно, вам за картину. Я думаю, что почти все получили колоссальное удовольствие от просмотра вчера. У меня вопрос, за кем было финальное решение утверждения на главную роль девочки, которая играет дочку главного героя? Как вы ее нашли? Что обычно происходит с детьми такого таланта в Голливуде? Потому что это экстремальный талант, это потрясающий просто ребенок. Какие перед ними в будущем стоят риски? Как этот талант беречь, приумножить? И, на ваш взгляд, каков будет ваш совет тем, кто эту девочку окружает?
Well, you know, she was really kind of tested, 4 or 5 girls, you know, we had a very short list because there are not so many. And she was actually the first one we tested with Channing Tatum. And, you know, we immediately knew she's the one. And, you know, when I was shooting with her, I learned to know a little bit her parents. And I think it's always the parents who can protect the kid. It's nobody else than the parents. But she has very, very smart and very, very nice parents. You know, so she comes from a very loving, and also her sister is also an actress, which helps. The older sister. But sometimes it's when it's only one in the family is the actor. It's not good. So that with her, and I think she will keep acting because she is a born actress and she's incredible talent.
Сберечь и приумножить этот талант можно каким образом?
Well, you know, I think she is relatively grown up for such a young lady. I mean, she knows exactly what she wants. She came to me with a total view how she wanted to play the part. She said to me she doesn't want to play dance with this dress. So that tells you she. And I agree with her. I said the more courageous you can play her, the more you will probably like her. And I think she's a real discovery.
Это действительно так. Дорогие друзья, пожалуйста, ваши вопросы. Представьтесь, не забывайте представляться.
Александр Казанцев, киноафиша. Добрый день, спасибо большое за фильм, получилось очень бодрое, зрелище, местами очень трогательное. Скажите, пожалуйста, оказало ли какое-то влияние на съемки то, что практически одновременно, даже много раньше, вышел фильм «Хранение Рима»?
When I started, decided to do White House Down, I was not aware of Olympus's Fall. I would have probably thought twice if I wanted to do it, because I had no idea that they were doing the same thing. And then when I had just cast, Channing Tatum, and I was on the way to Louisiana, somebody told me about this other film. But at that time they didn't have a director, so it's like I thought, how can they ever, beat us? And then they hired a director, and after they hired a director, 5 weeks later they started shooting. So, but I think that the two movies are quite different from each other. They have a very different feel to each other. So, and they have also Iron Man 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's always the same character anyway. So.
Следующий вопрос, пожалуйста.
Журнал «Антенна», здравствуйте. Я знаю, что вы уже не первый раз в Москве. Что вы собираетесь посмотреть на этот раз? Как вам здесь нравится? И второй вопрос. Сейчас стало очень модно рушить города на экране. Вы планируете ли сделать это с нашим городом?
It's my third time in Moscow. And actually the first time I came in 2012, it was really exciting. Because also we had a little bit more time. It was the beginning part of the tour, so they always give you a little bit more time. And I could visit the Kremlin and a couple of other sites. And you know, there's a tendency lately, you know, to use disaster elements in a lot of movies. You know, I see this now in a lot of the comic book hero films. They most of the time have an alien invasion and a lot of destruction, and that like kind of strikes me very familiar.
Следующий вопрос, дорогие друзья.
Надежда Маркалова, startfilm.ru. What was most challenging scene to shoot? Because you have a lot of things going on the set today, so what was most challenging?
You know what, to make these movies, you know, they're very complicated, they're very complex. We had a lot of actors. You know, what you have to do is you have to find a way how to keep it light and keep a set, you know, that people are not stressing out too much. So I always like try to be, you know, keep a very, friendly set, you know, where everybody can say whatever they want, you know. And actually in this movie it was relatively extreme that all the actors always stayed on the set, you know. In certain movies, you know, they all disappear in the trailers. In this one, it was such a great atmosphere on the set that most of the actors stayed on the set, you know. And I kept saying to them, come to your trailers, you know, we're not shooting them like the next 20 minutes. And they said, no, we're hanging around here. And it was interesting how Jamie Foxx and Channing Tatum were always like together, you know, discussing something, or Channing Tatum and Joey King were like kind of a real pair. They had this secret handshake they rehearsed, you know, for days and days and days. So we had I think it was very, very good that there was such a friendly atmosphere, and everybody loved, you know, to work on the movie. So that always that kind of transfers a little bit to the movie and makes this really hard work very much easier.
Скажите, пожалуйста, Роланд, у вас в прошлом фильме 2013 президент играл Дэнни Глови, в этом фильме играет президент Джимми Фокс. Скажите, почему у вас президент отказывает молодее? И есть ли какая-то реакция Белого дома на ваше творение?
When we did 2012, we very consciously had an African-American president. And so we didn't want to kind of do too blatantly Obama. But it was like meant as an endorsement of Obama, who at that time was still fighting with Hillary Clinton over the candidacy of his party. When I got the script for White House Down, it was like written as a very Obama-esque figure, also African-American, and I didn't want to change it because I'm a big supporter of President Obama, and it was before his re-election, so I didn't want to kind of, cast a white actor because I didn't want to kind of endorse a Mormon, you know, for the presidency. So, I don't think President Obama will always stay away from a movie like that because it's very close to home, and so he will probably never ever hear anything from him about the film.
Маленькое дополнение. Может быть, есть у вас реакция от кого-то из сотрудников, нынешних или бывших сотрудников секретной службы на вашу картину?
Well, we had a screening in Washington, and you know, when you like kind of remember the film, there is this line, you know, the Secretary of Homeland Security is in the house, you're getting so fired for that. And actually the Secretary of Homeland Security was in the house watching the film, and she loved it very much.
Давид Шнейдеров, внимание. Роланд, в трейлере к вашему фильму идут титры от автора Дня независимости, послезавтра и 2012. Но, честно говоря, для меня вы в первую очередь автор анонима. И я хотел спросить, не собираетесь ли вы еще порадовать нас не многобюджетным блокбастером, а авторским, умным, интеллектуальным и жестким кино? Спасибо.
I definitely want to do movies like Anonymous. They will look different. I have one project which is very dear to my heart, which I get hopefully made as a movie about the Stonewall riots, 69 in New York, which was the starting point of the gay liberation movement. That's one, and I have 2-3 other historical drama which I would like to do. One is about a gentleman called Gonzalo Aguero, who was the first Spaniard ever landed in Yucatan and kind of went native. So I have several of these projects, and I will hopefully all make them. I'm a little bit old now, so I have to hurry up. But one thing is for sure, I loved to make Anonymous, and it was like kind of one of my favorite programs.
Здравствуйте, Архам Костенко. Скажите, пожалуйста, как вы считаете, большой бюджет – это определяющее качество хорошего фильма или что-то другое? Можно за маленькие деньги снять отличный фильм. Вот. И есть ли у вас какая-то мечта в плане вот, снять фильм, который вы давно хотели, но пока не получилось по тем или иным причинам?
I just mentioned the movie which I want to do now since quite some while. It's the Stonewall film. But I don't think movies, are, dependent on their budget. Certain films naturally need a certain budget. But I think we did a movie like White House Down for a good budget. It's we were very tight with money. And yeah, I mean it's a very interesting tendency in America, at least. They either make very big movies, over $100 million, or under 20. There is nothing in between anymore. That's worries me a little bit.
Диана Геймскоу, скажите, были ли какие-то моменты в фильме, когда актеры сами предлагали какие-то идеи по съемкам, и, возможно, даже хотелось что-то менять в сценарии?
Well, I do this all the time. That's why I also obsess about the cast. For me, the most important thing as a director for me is finding, the right cast. I think 80% of directing is finding the right cast. And when I shoot a movie, I try to create an atmosphere of cooperation. And what comes out of this is that I sometimes say to the actors, because they know their characters so well, I say, like, now improvise. Just add whatever comes to the mind. And some of the best moments in my movies are always created through improvisation. Started already in my very first movie.
Есть такая традиция в российской педагогике. Если в классе есть два друга, которые постоянно веселятся, шутят, никак не могут сидеть на месте, их нужно рассадить. Вот у вас не возникало желания рассадить на съемочной площадке Джерри Фокса и Ченнинга Тетума? Потому что, насколько я понимаю, они просто неугомонные, шутят постоянно, и не мешало ли это работе?
Yeah, they were very unruly once in a while. I sometimes had to just say, stop joking around, because they really liked each other, they supported each other. And especially Jamie Foxx, who had to wear a suit, constantly tried to show Channing Tatum how he has to stand so his arms look better. I said to Jamie, can you stop that? Because Channing became more self-conscious about his position than his acting. So yeah, but it was never really a problem. They're very really both very nice people.
Есть ли еще вопросы? дорогие друзья, конечно же, есть. Саша, пожалуйста.
Роланд, я заглянул на Rotten Tomatoes и посмотрел, что критики оценили вашу картину нынешнюю на 47%, а при этом зрители оценивают картину на 70%. Как вы считаете, может быть, вы вспомните какой-то самый веселый, какой-то самый смешной отзыв критиков о ваших фильмах, который вас действительно насмешил? Вообще, читаете ли вы критику на свои работы? Спасибо.
If I would read what critics write about my movies, I wouldn't make movies anymore. So I avoid them like the pest. Maybe the only thing that I once read, was about Anonymous. And, and it was like actually a year later after Anonymous came out, the Huffington Post declared Rowland Emmerich finally proved wrong by 4 or 5 professors. And when I read the article, it was a total joke, which I kind of said, well, they never asked my statement. I could have had an answer to every one of these points. So.